टाइम कहा था थोड़ा पहले नहीं आ सकते।
मैंने ठीक किया, आपने पहले आ गए। हाँ
We are glad to announce the arrival of our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Jitendra Singh. By the time we take a tour of science exhibition, I would like to call Mr. Deepak Bhagwan, Ms. Anupama Satdev Singh, Mr. Harish Bhagwan sir, to kindly lit the lamp, followed by a ceremony Vandana prepared by the students of Utsav Foundation.
It's a good effort.
This is खेत गुरु by रिज वैली स्कूल, इनका प्रोजेक्ट अप्रूव हुआ है। बताओ बेटा।
जी सर तो हमारे ये एक वेबसाइट और हार्डवेयर का कॉम्बिनेशन है। हमारा मोटिव ये है कि फार्मर के पास नॉलेज कम हो, ये डिवाइस है सर। इसके अंदर हमारे पास 3 सॉइल सेंसर है सर, एनपीके सेंसर है, मॉइस्चर सेंसर है और पीएच सेंसर है। अब जैसे ये कनेक्ट होता है सॉइल के अंदर, ये फार्मर को रीडिंग्स दे देता है यहाँ पे। अब सर एनपीके, नाइट्रोजन, फॉस्फोरस, पोटेशियम रीडिंग्स ये हमारे मैक्रो न्यूट्रिएंट्स होते हैं जो मोस्टली हर क्रॉप को चाहिए होते हैं। अब हमारी जो वेबसाइट है सर, इसके अंदर हर फार्मर के पास अपना खुद का अकाउंट है। ये हमारा रेवेन्यू मॉडल भी है, हर फार्मर 10-20 रुपये भरेगा हर महीने।
इनको अब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता एआई की तरफ भी ले जाना है।
एआई एनेबल्ड बनाएंगे।
बड़ा अच्छा है,
ये है उसी तरह के।
ये हमारा आर्मी पब्लिक स्कूल का प्रोजेक्ट है। थैंक यू बेटा। ये हमारे स्किल स्कूल की है। बताओ बेटा आपका क्या है? स्मॉल एग्रीकल्चर। ये हमारे 10th क्लास, ये हमारे जो स्कूल चलता है यहाँ पे उसके बच्चे।
न्यूटन का इन्होंने किया है।
जो आसपास सराउंडिंग
ये ठीक है, इट्स ए गुड डिस्प्ले फॉर चिल्ड्रन पर्टिकुलरली।
Now, as we move ahead to the official launch of vision, I would like to pass the seat to Dalina, who will take us science details to this initiative.
उन्होंने भी दिए हैं ना आपको स्कूल कुछ?
हाँ, आपने जेल के
हाँ, और भी
उन्होंने भी प्रोजेक्ट सबमिट किया।
Jitendra Singh, he is a physician and politician. Deepak Bhagwan sir, Anupama Satdev request Dr. Raj Nehru sir to welcome our guest of honor, Shri Ravin Singh Rana. He is the Chief Business Officer, India Southeast Asia ANZ Concentrates. Officer India Southeast Asia ANZ Concentrates. We request him to enlighten us with an overview of concentrates and their significant contribution to social environment.
To the State and Department of Space. Sir, your presence here will inspire the children and the Utsav community. This is my second meeting with you, and me and my team from Concentrics Leadership are here, and it will further inspire and motivate us to continue to work on this path. And that provides opportunities to the children that have ideas but do not have resources and wherewithal to execute them. As they say that every great transformation begins with a small idea. The idea is of no use until it is executed, and for execution you need resources and you need partnership. And that is where a public-private partnership like ours comes into play. I had the honor and privilege of meeting Dr. Raj Nehru. We've known each other for more than 2 decades, and his ideas and his belief in philanthropy and social change really inspires me. We started working with Utsav Foundation. It's been about 10 years. It has been our sheer privilege, and today we are going to go to the next step by launching this platform. I just want to introduce Concentrics as a company. We are NASDAQ listed, global Fortune 500 company. We've been in existence for more than 2 decades. We have 4,000 staff that serve more than 2,000 clients worldwide in 70 countries and 150 languages. In India, we are about 80,000 plus people. In India, our success story is not just about the business success and our client partnership and innovation, but it is also about the change that we are trying to bring and the contribution that we are trying to make with the communities. We work with dozens of NGOs, and we operate and we execute dozens of projects around social change and philanthropy across India. The idea is that as we bring investments into India, we generate employments, we also try and contribute to the society. This idea came from Dr. Raj Nehru some time ago, that the children that are studying at Utsav and many other government schools have ideas and they want to bring them to life. But this could not have been done without 2 things. One is a platform which is technology driven, which makes it easy for students to submit the ideas and for us to evaluate them, and finally funding is very, very critical. And this is where this is why we are here today. Manish, my colleague, is going to be here in a minute, and we will talk about what this platform is, and we are also going to fund some of the students and give those recognition and awards. It is our small contribution. I would urge it, and I would put it across Honorable Minister to kind of fulfill and contribute towards fulfillment of Viksit Bharat. Prime Minister's vision is to be fully developed nation by 2047, and this is a small contribution towards that. With that, once again, I want to thank Utsav team. I want to thank Dr. Raj Nehru for his vision, and I want to humbly thank the presence of Dr. Jitendra Singh, who came here and graced this occasion. Thank you very much.
For Global Technology Solutions and Services at Concentrix, I'm honored to be here and be a part of the launch of Vision app and Vision website. Just want to take a step back on this, that when Dr. Raj shared his vision of what exactly he wants to build, we realized that this was not an ordinary ask. This was something which was way larger than life. He was looking at a website, but we realized that it was not just a website, but a platform that can enable students across India to get connected to the mentors and the industry leaders across the globe. We realize that this is that potential where a student, whether in Tier 1 city or a student studying in a school or a university or a college in rural India, can share ideas either through voice or through text, or maybe submit a document. We will evaluate it, and once the evaluation is done by the industry experts, the intent was to take it to the market, wherein there would be corporates who would be then assigning their industry mentors and taking it ahead for the impact analysis to see how, from a tech perspective, these things can have an impact on the overall society. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to skip through some of the slides, but when we did the study, we realized that if you look at some of the leading nations, whether it is the US or whether it is China or Germany for that matter, from a GDP perspective, India is at a stage where it's growing, but we are still not there. And for us to complete our Viksit Bharat vision of 2047 of having a $30 trillion GDP, we believe that startups is going to be a major accelerator, a major fuel in this journey. And to make that happen, Vision platform is one of those enablers which is going to contribute to that success. How? So when we started building on it, what we looked at was, if we make a platform, अगर कोई student rural India में है, अगर कोई student एक university में पढ़ रहा है, एक school में पढ़ रहा है, college में पढ़ रहा है, उसे ideas आ रहे हैं, how is that idea going to get seeded? How is that idea going to get evaluated? And then eventually packaged in a way that we can take it into the market so that we can start doing the impact of that, and then eventually once it's a success, take it to the next level wherein we start looking at funding from the other corporates or for that matter the industry experts. So for that, what was really important was that it has to have a mobile friendly as well as a device friendly interface. So that was a very easy thing. We used JavaScript, we used PHP to build that platform. But then we realized that the potential of this idea is so huge that we will be perhaps looking at multiple volumes, huge amount of data that would be hitting the platform. And for that we use the cloud technology. We relied on the data security as well as the data integrity of the cloud. Plus the most important one is the scalability of the cloud. So that was something that we used to build the technology. The third, and of course very, very important, India is such a diverse and such a beautiful nation with multiple cultures and multiple languages. It was important that A, we do multi-language support as well as we do voice recognition. So these are some of the APIs that we built in the entire system. So the architecture that we have right now has the ability to engage with other third-party tools and products so that we can build these capabilities on top of it. Now what's really important is, at this stage, there are a lot of industry experts who are our mentors, and my earnest thank you to all of them. But as the number of these applications and innovative ideas keep on increasing, it will perhaps be impossible for a human to actually look at so many ideas and give response within a turnaround time. And an idea is something which needs to be addressed with a lot of passion, both from the person who's innovator as well as someone who's evaluating it. So keeping that in mind, we've built the architecture in a way that it can leverage artificial intelligence to start looking at some of the basic ideas and start doing the evaluation. So that was the other cutting edge technology that we used. Again, India being so diverse and so huge, it was very important to see how are we penetrating India in terms of our vision. So what if a certain part of India, we see that the penetration is not much, whereas on the other parts of India, the penetration is deeper. How do we get that data? Because data is, as they say, is the new, is oil, right? That's the new currency that we have to look at. So we started looking at geolocation services to see the impact across the nation, to see कहाँ पर कितना impact आ रहा है, कहाँ पे हमें extra effort डालने हैं, वहाँ के schools, colleges से जाके हमें collaboration करना है, so that we get those ideas. So when we built this entire application, all these ideas were implemented into the platform that we built at this point. Very happy to present that when we went through almost 28 of such ideas, and there were a lot of esteemed members who were on the mentoring team and the selection team, we evaluated so many of these ideas, and basis that 8 ideas were selected, out of which 2 were in health tech, 2 were in agri-tech, 2 were in community solutions, 1 was in environmental sustainability, and 1 was in tech solutions. These are some of the ideas that we have, and if you look at it, we focused on not just the concept of the idea, but also from a scalability perspective, and we also very closely evaluated that from a behavioral competency perspective as well as from a technical competency perspective, how does that impact the student? When we took a deep dive to look at the implementation of these ideas, skills like JavaScript, skills like SQL, machine learning, I was talking to one of the persons over there, embedded systems, these skills were developed, were showcased to us by the students, again coming from rural India as well as from tier 1 city. At the same time, when they started presenting these things, we were looking at the behavioral competencies like problem solving skills, leadership skills, entrepreneurial skills. So the platform technically started enabling both the behavioral competencies and the technical competencies enablement in our students. And I think that makes this platform so unique that I have not come across any such platform which not just taps but empowers students to become the future leaders, and that too to help in the nation building. So with that, I would now request Dr. Jitendra Singh to please do the curtain reading and launch the back.
एक सेकंड algorithm में पता था.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. With that, I hand it over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. It was project helps farmers by providing guidance. Our next grant So these are the brilliant students which you have seen doing yoga today also in the start of the program. Now we invite our next awardee, Dr. Jalbir Singh from Shri Vishwakarma Skill University. This project enhances food security by increasing productivity and efficiency of crops. Next, we would like to call upon Camelia Chaudhary, Manager Planning and Operations from ACIC IIT ISM Foundation. These air fresheners promote sustainability by using recycled flowers and plants. Next, we would like to now invite Professor Dr. Prakash Kumar, Head of the Department of Production and Industrial Engineering at BIT Sindri, to collect the grant for his project Wow Health. This project focuses on enhancing rider safety to reduce accidents and save lives, thereby improving road safety. Next we call Naveen Deswal, President of the Baba Ramdas with intellectual disabilities, by training them in professional grooming and customer service skills. Next, we would like to invite the underwater activities and reduces the risk of underwater accidents. We are sure that this support will enable successful execution of their project. SG to collect this award on behalf of the team of Concentrix India. Concentric has made significant contributions, and their support has greatly impacted our foundation. Next Puraskar goes to Roop Polymers Limited. To accept this award, I invite Mr. Hitesh Jain. As a truly global organization, Roop Polymers Limited is committed to maintaining a strong ethical foundation. All of its facilities operate as a smoke-free, zero pollution hubs, thereby significantly contributing to a greener environment. Now, we would like to invite Mr. Ajay Mehta to collect the Puraskar on behalf of Canara HSBC Life Insurance. This organization has been dedicated to supporting the weaker sections of the society through various initiatives aimed at improving their livelihoods. Next, we would like to invite Mr. Azhar and Ms. Nitika to collect the Puraskar on behalf of Altudo. Altudo has generously provided Utsav Foundation with fancy dresses for events for our students, among other contributions. Their support has been contribution that has greatly benefited our students. Next, we invite Mr. Arvind Kaul to collect the Bharat Shresth Seva Puraskar on behalf of East West Automation Technology Private Limited. We just give salvation to the abandoned body souls. So in this, these people help us a lot to collect the ashes from the nearby crematoriums of the abandoned bodies. We would like to invite Mr. Harish Bharadwaj to collect Bharat Seva Ratna Puraskar. So, and Alophic Industries Limited. So, I feel really sorry. Actually, the people have arrived.
Professor Raj Nehru, because of whose motivation and perseverance and persuasion I am standing before you this morning. I don't think it was easy for me to accept this invitation, to be very honest, but for Raj's infectious persuasion and also his passion for any task that he takes up. I've known him for several decades now, and that is the way he works and accomplishes the goals that he takes upon himself. I have to compliment him and the entire team for the manner in which the Vishwakarma Skill University has come up. And I was also delighted to, in fact, felt tempted to appreciate his entrepreneurship, because the manner he has, I would not say encroached, but got hold of this piece of land, which is of course a very brilliant idea. Brilliant idea, because I was trying to understand, because being a researcher myself, I always like to be very curious about things. So I was asking him, how are you placed here? What is this land? Who does it belong to? And it belongs to the temple, but I must appreciate, because this must be very useful as an outreach office for his university closer to the national capital. So that also speaks of the entrepreneurial skills of the person heading the institution. Also Mr. Ravinder Rana and the entire team, and of course the award winners, whom I'm delighted to compliment and congratulate. And I'm glad to be a part of this Utsav Foundation and the inauguration of Viksit Bharat Initiative for Student Innovation and Outreach Network, which has been very wisely and smartly acronymed as VISION. So I'm sure it's going to provide vision to all of us, both sitting here as well as on the other side. And also because it has very sensitively taken upon itself the task of nurturing education and skill development in the underprivileged, or those who may not be getting an easy access to such kind of a training or such kind of a mentorship. So to that extent, you are serving the cause of skill in the country, you are serving the cause of nation, you are serving the cause of the lesser privileged sections of society, and also serving the cause of the startup movement, which was initiated by Prime Minister Modi from the ramparts of Red Fort, when he said Stand Up India, Start Up India on the 15th of August 2015. And therefore I think the initiative like Vision is also an opportunity for those in the most remote parts of the country to get a feel of what is happening in the mainland, and that is in a way true democratization of this startup movement that we have, and especially given the kind of technology that we have these days, and each child, wherever he lives, has access to it, which is quite unlike it was in my generation. I think you are now actually supplementing to that kind of a technological revolution. We have now boys and girls qualifying in civil services and also IITs, who actually hail from areas where they don't even have the libraries or the coaching facilities, and they are able to prepare themselves for the exam simply by the virtue of a smartphone. So I think in a way it is also a good awakening for those who may not be otherwise be as privileged as their peers in the rest of the society. Now, as far as the startup movement is concerned, I have no hesitation, at the risk of being boastful, to say that before 2014 we were just about 350, 400. Today we've gone up to more than 1.67 lakh, and we are rated number 3 in the world ecosystem of startups. And this has been possible because we never had a dearth of talent or dearth of potential or even the dearth of passion in this country. What he possibly lacked was a kind of an enabling milieu which is to be provided by the policymakers, by the political dispensation. And fortunately that happened after Prime Minister Modi came in and we had a new startup policy. And of course, which was also very appropriately and optimally supplemented by the latest digital tools. We are now, I think, equal to any other nation in the world as far as technological standing is concerned. And as students of science, we've been taught not to speak without evidence. You would bear me out when I'll give you just a small example that television happened in the United States in 1950s. And that famous election where John Kennedy turned the tables on Richard Nixon was in 1960, and it was the result of a TV debate between the presidential candidates. And here in India, we didn't know what is TV and what is debate. We got to know it here only in 1970s, that also with a weekly Chitrahar. But today, we are among 5 or 6 nations in the world. We are into quantum technology. We are, I think, among the first to have a biotechnology policy of our own. Very recently, 2 months back, we rolled out Bio-E3, that is biotechnology for economy, for employment, for environment. Because we are, I think, earlier than many other nations of the world seized of the fact that next industrial revolution is going to be bioeconomy driven, just as the last one in 1990s was IT driven. So we are now at par, so also our space. We started our space program in 1969, the ISRO, when America had already landed on the surface of the moon. Today we have landed at the South Pole earlier than all others. So I think now it's one of the better times happening for the younger generation, and also better times happening for the promotion of these initiatives like startups. But what is, I think, important to be emphasized is that our exclusive domain is agri startup, health startup. Unfortunately, somewhere it gets stuck that it has to be IT, because the concept landed in Bangalore, which was a IT city. But we have a whole range of Himalayan states. And we have very recently come out with the success story of lavender startups. Incidentally, from the state of the UT of Jammu and Kashmir, which is very closely familiar with Raj Nehru as well. And it has got to be known as Purple Revolution across the country. We have about 3,000 to 4,000 startups, and they're making a huge fortune out of it. And the other, so that is one myth that I think needs to be exploded and needs to be clarified before these youngsters. The other is that they get scared when you talk very high mighty about the startup concept. But what is important to drive home to them is that they don't need to be big scientists or PhDs or anything. This lavender startups, what I'm talking about, I think many of them are not even undergraduates. So you need to have passion, you need to have skill, you need to have the inclination to move from one level to the next, because that is what sustains. I'm appreciating when is talking about ideas, the 100 ideas, because this is all a play of ideas, then moving from one idea to the other, because startup is easy, but to sustain a startup is not that easy. So sustainable startups, and also vital integration with, primarily with industry. So I am one of the very strong advocates of the early industry linkage, and I am glad that in this program you have a series of industry houses, industry representatives, which are going to make your effort reach the goal it is meant for. And of course, if we have to move on from here, we have to have a very strong private-public partnership, which I believe should be equal. And we have, as I talked about lavender, we succeeded because we had an industry linkage with the perfume industry right from day one. And I am also of the opinion that we could even allow the industry to do the mapping for us for the kind of skills they require. And the other success stories are of space, because 66, 7 decades we were functioning in a wheel of secrecy. I know for what reason, but when we put it across to the Prime Minister, just 3 years back he allowed us to open up. And today from just 1-digit space startup we've gone to more than 300, and many of them are world class. They've also turned into entrepreneurs. The first startup that we had in the space called Skyroot is now opened up its first ever private rocket manufacturing unit in Hyderabad. So what I'm trying to say is that now the time has come, because if we have to live up to the global parameters, time to integrate, and I think this exercise which we witnessed this morning is an example of this. And I'm sure this is going to also set the model for others to follow. And of course, closely associated with it is the new NEP or National Education Policy 2020, which allows you to juggle your subjects and no longer because these youngsters, sometimes the podcast, Sabita asked me, what do you regret? I said nothing, because if you regret, God will be angry. So he said, what do you wish to? I said, I wish I was the youngster in this generation, because all that privilege given now is not there. And I think this National Education Policy, to put it in a brief, would not make you the prisoner of the subjects that your parents chose for you, like we were. So if the parents thought you had to be a doctor, they asked you to choose the medical subjects, class 12. If you didn't make it, you had no choice but to do BSc in biology. Then try your luck at civil services. If you didn't succeed, then do MSc biology. Then try your luck getting a teacher's job in some university somewhere. If you're not, then you turn up into an unemployed PhD or something. So this is a beautiful now arrangement. You can change your subjects. You can combine the two extremes. You can combine economics with biotechnology. And I'm glad also to share with the youngsters over here that in 2014 we had just about 50 biotech startups in this country. Today we've gone up to nearly 9,000. And that's also because the COVID generated a lot of interest in the DNA vaccine, etc., which we were the first to develop. And that is, I think, an upcoming area. And because this is a passion to me as well, so I can go on and on. But I have my own constraint of time, so I'll conclude by saying that I'm sure the initiative of vision will add vision to Vision India 2047. Thank you.
यूथ को फायदा होगा, स्टूडेंट्स को फायदा होगा, इन सब क्या?
सबसे पहले तो मैं कहूँगा कि बधाई के पात्र है विश्वकर्मा स्किल यूनिवर्सिटी के हमारे कुलपति प्रोफेसर राज नेहरू की सारी टोली टीम और उनके साथ समन्वय करने वाले सारे के सारे दूसरे जितने भी ग्रुप्स यहाँ एकत्रित हुए हैं। और ये एक स्टार्टअप्स का भी इनिशिएटिव है और साथ ही साथ प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी द्वारा जिस प्रकार से स्टार्टअप मूवमेंट को इस देश में बल दिया गया, जिसके परिणाम स्वरूप सन 2014 में 350-400 से बढ़कर के आज स्टार्टअप्स 1.5-2 लाख तक पहुँच गए और स्टार्टअप की दुनिया में तीसरे दर्जे पर आन खड़े हुए। उसका किस प्रकार से उस मूवमेंट का डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन हो, उन वर्गों तक वो पहुंच पाए जहां शायद उतना सुलभ उनके लिए सरल पहुंचना नहीं है, या जो लेस प्रिविलेज सेक्शंस ऑफ सोसाइटी है उनके बच्चों को भी उससे वंचित न रहना पड़े, उस भाव के साथ, उस प्रतिबद्धता के साथ ये इनिशिएटिव शुरू किया गया है। और इसमें आपने देखा कि किस प्रकार अद्भुत प्रतिभा का परिचय बच्चों ने दिया। भिन्न भिन्न समाज के वर्गों से वो आए हुए, उनकी बैकग्राउंड्स, उनके परिप्रेक्ष्य अलग अलग थे, लेकिन उनकी प्रतिभा सराहनीय है। और इस प्रकार उनको आइडियाज़ जनरेशन की भी प्रेरणा मिलती है और किस प्रकार अगले स्तर पर जाकर के सस्टेनेबल स्टार्टअप सिस्टम का एक हिस्सा बनना, उसके लिए एक इंटेग्रेटेड इकोसिस्टम की भी व्यवस्था यहाँ पर उपलब्ध होगी, इंडस्ट्री लिंकेज के द्वारा और नॉलेज पार्टनरशिप के द्वारा।
बच्चों को खासकर आने वाले
ये एक बहुत ही मोमेंटस ओकेजन है और डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह ने आके इसको जो ग्रेस किया है उससे बहुत हमें प्रोत्साहन और उत्साहना मिलेगी। ये जो बच्चों के पास आइडियाज़ हैं मगर रिसोर्सेज नहीं है, मीन्स नहीं है, हम चाहते हैं कि उन बच्चों को इस प्लेटफॉर्म के थ्रू और हमारी फंडिंग के थ्रू ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले कि उस आइडिया को रियलाइज़ कर सकें। आइडियाज़ तो बहुत पावरफुल होते हैं, लेकिन जब तक उनको रिसोर्सेज और सपोर्ट ना मिले वो एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होते। जब तक एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होते रियल लाइफ में नहीं आ पाते हैं। बड़े बड़े यूनिवर्सिटीज़ और कॉलेजेस में फंडिंग होती है, लेकिन जब आप गरीब बच्चों की बात करते हो तो उनके पास बहुत सारे आइडियाज़ होते हैं लेकिन फंडिंग नहीं होती है। ये हमारा एक इनिशिएटिव है कि हम उन तक जा सकें। ये स्टार्टअप इंडिया और हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी की जो विज़न है 2047 तक कम्प्लीटली विकसित होने का, विकसित नेशन होने का, उसमें भी ये कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा।
क्या इस मुहिम को ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में भी आगे बढ़ाएंगे?
इस मुहिम को पूरे हिंदुस्तान में हर विलेज में, हर तबके में हम पहुंचाएंगे और जहां भी ब्राइट बच्चा होगा, जहां भी एक ब्राइट आइडिया होगा, उसको हम सपोर्ट करेंगे।
Thank you, sir. Yourself?
Hello, hi. My name is Dr. Jitendra Singh. I'm from South Korea. I'm the founder president of Indo-Korea Business Culture Center, IKBCC.
So how you see this type of programs like vision program for youth and children?
IKBCC has signed an MOU with the Shri Vishkama Skill University, and I have known about Viksit Bharat 2047, New India by 2047. I've been very impressed, and also Shri Vishkama Skill University is India's first skill university. And this Ujjav Foundation, I learned about a lot because last week I came here to have a special field tour. So Ujjav means joy, and it's amazing to see that what Mr. Raj Nehru, the Vice Chancellor of SVSU, and his wife, Mrs. Nehru, have been doing to the underprivileged children to offer them joy, hope, future. And these, I learned that 10 years ago, it started with the 5 students. And when I visited last week, it was more than 600 students from age 16 up to 18. And some of them now, they have been enrolled at Shri Vishkama Skill University. So, Viksit Bharat 2047, South Korea, we only have human resources. So what India we can see the future of India through this Viksit Bharat 2047. And I'm very happy to see the Indian government highly motivate a lot of Indian youth to have this entrepreneurship and skill development so they can have a better future, better life, and not only for themselves, for the country. So, New Bharat, Viksit Bharat 2047. Great job, Ujjav Foundation and Shri Vishkama Skill University.
Thanks for compliments. And